cue this.
All right, anytime you're ready, man.
What up, everybody? You are back in the neutral zone. I am Javon J. Love Adams, and as always, joined by my co-host. We'll start with Sean McConnell on the far end. What's going on with you, man?
Good, man. I'm good. Running around. Told you before the show. Got my 10-year-old starting his first tackle season, so
Sweet.
get into it.
That's how it goes. Yeah, keep me posted on that. The first season, especially playing tackle, that's always there's an adjustment period.
Oh yeah, it's a little hectic for sure.
Yeah, and then the one and only casual Earl Burnett. What is good?
Same old, man. Just working.
That's that adult life, and we are missing our partner in crime, the one and only Ed Easy Smith. He'll be back next week, so shout out to Ed. What is good? So we do this every Thursday. It is our version of the football Pickem show. You can catch us because if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you already know this, but everything is casual sports. KAZUALSPORTZ. So that's on Twitter, Instagram, and of course on Facebook. And you can go to KSRNAZ.com to check out everything that has to do with Phoenix, with Arizona
It's
sports.
blowing up.
So make sure you
it's
do
blowing
that.
up. Don't miss out.
We didn't give a good recap last week, and typically Sean does this, but I'm here on the Pick'em.
Oh, now y'all want to pick. Now y'all want to see him.
Yes, indeed. So let's take a look. We're just gonna start from 4 and go and make our way up. So with as of before this game, before the Thursday game tonight, with 19 points coming in fourth place is Casual E.
Last week was first.
Yeah, well, I didn't. Typically, Sean
what you did last week is what you're about to do in the current week.
Typically, Sean is the one that recaps it, and I
Yeah.
typically remind him to recap it, so I didn't do that, so that's on me. And then Sean is third with 20 points, and I am second with 21, and with 22 is Ed. So we're pretty bunched up there, pretty bunched up. So that's not too bad. But let's get it started. The first game on the slate today, let's talk about the Ravens at the Chiefs. So, and real quick, for those of you that are new, we break it down into segments. So we go long form, but it's segments. So the first segment are the games that I feel that have some type of allure to them. And so we'll talk about those. And the second segment is a longer segment, and that is all dedicated to the Arizona Cardinals because we are really steeped in all things Arizona Cardinals. And the third is this kind of the second tier of games. And then the fourth, you get the point, you get the picture. It's our rapid fire segment. So let's get into the Ravens at the Chiefs. So the Ravens played the Arizona Cardinals last week. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson, it does seem like he is able to pass, so I guess that's something that's big there. I was curious as to whether or not he was going to start throwing all kinds of errant passes and all that, but he was actually accurate, and he racked up a lot of rushing yards. Then the Chiefs, Mahomes is just unbelievable, but they did have 10 penalties for 114 yards. I want to know what you guys think about that. Any concerns there? And they sacked Carr because they played the Raiders last week 3 times and forced 2 interceptions. So let's start with you, Sean.
I'm surprised it wasn't more than what it was. I mean, you were going up against the Raiders, obviously, so should have been more. I gotta take my shots.
Gotta take that jab.
This game is very interesting to me. This seems like one of those games that Kansas City could give away. In a sense, not that they'd be giving away. I think Baltimore would earn this win, but I am going to say the Chiefs are going to win. I have a lot of these home teams winning this week. It just seems like the safer bet, the lock type of bet. Kansas City has started slow, especially against the Raiders. That first quarter, it was slow.
Right.
And then in the second and third, they just explode on you, right? So that allows them to coast in the fourth. And I have a Kansas City fan at work that talks to me all the time. He says, I don't know why they can't just pedal to the metal the whole time. But they like to coast in the fourth. It keeps them, healthy enough for the playoff run. So I'm going to go with them at home, but I think it might be a little closer than expected.
What you got?
Yeah, I was just about to say, you talking like this going to be an easy game for the Chiefs.
No, not at all.
No, but it's last year's game, 27-24, so that's going to give you an idea what it's going to look like this year. So, but it's all about the Chiefs' offense here. 25-plus points for 23 straight games. That's unheard of. That's a record. So, and then 13 out of 18 games, they're 400-plus total yards in a game. So, it's about stopping the KC offense. Can the Baltimore Ravens hold up? And they have a few things that might be able to slow Kansas City down.
Okay.
The cornerbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Marlon Humphrey, cornerback, and they got the best safety tandem in the league. Earl Thomas and, of course, our boy Tony Jefferson.
Right.
Those dudes may be able to slow down that offense a little bit. But and you know what a finesse offense does not want to see.
They don't want to get hit.
They don't want the physicality, and that's what these guys will bring. These guys bring the physical,
and they let you know.
They get hands on like that. You're hurting me, hand stuff. You know, you're hurting me, man. You're hurting me.
Okay.
But I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because it's in their house, and it's gonna be tough for Baltimore to win on the road. And Lamar Jackson, I don't know if he can travel that game, can travel on the road that he did, at his house against the Cardinals last week with passing the ball like he was passing it. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
All right, so let's move on to the Saints and the Seahawks. It's interesting. Breeze is out. Bridgewater is in, maybe, because Taysom Hill, the 37-year-old quarterback. I mean, I think he's 29, but
Over the hill, Taysom Hill.
If they play Taysom Hill, that just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. But can they weather the storm with Breeze being out is the question that I wrote down. The defense gave up two plays of 57+ yards passing last week. So that big play ball, they're susceptible to that. The Seahawks, the defense gave up 26 points. They did win the game though, but 425 yards of total offense for the Seahawks, but Wilson was sacked 4 times. So you can get to Wilson if you apply the pressure. It's just a matter of what can you do with it. Let's go with you, Casual E. What do you think?
Man, the Saints they're a totally different team. Now we got to try to project them with Teddy Bridgewater rather than Breeze. That's kind of a totally different team now.
Right.
The Saints need to take the pressure off of Teddy, though, by running the ball, and they have not been able to run the ball. I mean, Kamara had 22 yards rushing last week. I mean, if they're throwing the ball too much, there's no way they're going to be able to win this game. So they gotta get pressure off him by running the football because they're only averaging 2.9 yards per carry in rushing, and Kamara is better than that. But the Seahawks love to do exactly just that, and just run the ball.
Right.
I mean, they are the best at it right now. They're the most heavy tandem in the league running the football right now with those two running backs they have in Penny and Carson. And I don't know, whoever controls the line of scrimmage on either side and running the football is going to be the one to win this game. But I'm going with the Seahawks because of the 12th man, of course.
12th man.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And of course, they have the better running game. And I don't know if the Saints can hold up against those two backs.
I got to go Seahawks 2. New Orleans is going to be reeling with this loss of Breeze. This whole potential 2-quarterback system in a game thing. That doesn't seem to work.
That's not going to work.
Ask Joe Flacco how that worked. He's in Denver now.
Yeah.
They're going into a hostile environment. It's going to have to rely heavily on Kamara if they want a chance at this game.
Right.
I can see it being close and Seattle edging him out late because of that home field advantage. And you never know what's going to happen when it's always wet out there. The ball's always slippery. You never know what's going to happen. But I see Seattle winning this game. I feel bad for the Saints, man. Feel bad.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
I know somebody that's not feeling bad for them. My boy Paul.
That is true. Let's transition to the Texans at the Chargers. I put this on here. Watson was sacked 4 times last week, and he only had 157 yards passing. The Chargers, they lost despite having a balanced attack and winning the time of possession. The defense did their part, but the offense really didn't come through in terms of being able to get those plays laid down the stretch. The Chargers are that enigma. You just never know how the Chargers are going to perform. Will they start slow and then all of a sudden catch fire? Will they stay consistent during the season and then maybe lose that first or second round playoff game? What do you think, Casual?
Yeah, both of these teams are like chameleons. They're up and down. You just don't know how to figure them out. Yeah. Both these teams. One time they up, 1 week they up, and 1 week they down. So Chargers, I mean, I'm not a crazy fantasy football person, but the Chargers hold quarterbacks to under 19 fantasy points. So if that has anything to do with anything, he said ding. So that means they get pressure up front, and that means they have a good they have good red zone defense. At the same time, they limit the big plays on defense. So they do a pretty good job at that. And Phillip Rivers has 14 touchdowns alone against the Texans. Woo. By himself. I mean, over the course of his career, he shreds that defense. Right. So I don't know. I don't see anything being different in this one. They'll probably have 3 more touchdowns in this one. The Texans usually, like I said, unpredictable. Up one week, look real, look fake the next. Watson's taking too many hits because he's holding the ball too long. I mean, he's literally, as thin and frail as he is, he's tough as hell. He stands there and just waits, and he holds it.
When you're waiting when that happens with a quarterback, are they waiting because they're trying to wait for that window to open, or they're trying to get that big play down the field? Why does that happen?
I played quarterback, and me and my brother were a tight tandem, and we used to kill dudes on the pass play all game. And I would wait until he breaks up, and then hum that mug too. That's what that is. Him and Hop are doing that. He's holding that ball long enough to get Hop open, and then he throws it, and that's where all the big plays come from, and the sacks.
Does that mean
exactly?
Your nickname is Statue? Or Scarecrow?
Yeah, you're like, wait, go.
And he throws it.
Then he throws it.
Tin Man, something.
I know how that is, but when you got a receiver like that, you got to just give him the rock. Yeah, you're forcing him to rock, and he's forcing him the ball to him. So, yeah, that's what I think is happening.
I'm having fun with it. I still really don't know what to think of the Chargers. They don't really even have home field advantage, so I can't. Ed's not here, and he always goes with the home team. But this is one of those games where you can't really go with the home team because their home doesn't want them. It's weird, right? It's just weird. All of it's weird. I'm gonna feel that way every home game they have.
That's messed up.
I know, but
they home don't want
neither team I've felt has put together a full game yet, and I have to hedge the bet and say that the Texans are going to be the team to put together a complete game, and it's going to be on week 3 on the road. And that's a lot going against me, but I'm going to go Texans here.
All right. So let's move on to the Rams at the Browns. The Rams, they limited the Saints to 9 points last week. Only 5 of 13 on third down, though. But they did have a balanced attack. They had over 380 yards, total yards. The Browns, OBJ was explosive. There was that one play where he kind of just went over the middle a little bit and he exploded for a long touchdown. I want to say it was 89 yards. Garrett, he had that sack. He had a couple of sacks, and one of them was a borderline dirty play. But the Browns really needed that win. So here we are with both of these teams. The pressure still continues to mount for the Browns because of what's expected of them. So what do you got with this one, Sean?
Yeah, I'm going to call this the game of the week. I mean, this is the headline game. It's Sunday night. Waiting all day for Sunday night, you know what I mean? Browns have to win this game to make a statement to the league that they are for real, that they are serious.
Right.
I know I called that breakout game in week 1, the coming out party. Didn't work out so well. I think they were kind of the 0-16 non-Super Bowl hangover, whatever it was. Like they were still feeling that from years and years and years. But This is the game that they have to make that statement, and they have to do it at home. They have to do it against a very good team in the Rams, a team that isn't complete this year, but they were last year, and it's still a statement because it's early in the season. Beating the Jets doesn't do anything for your credibility. It really doesn't. I mean, they might as well be 0-1 still.
You get picked apart even more because it's why did it take you so long to really get going? Why
all the little tiny things in that game get micromanaged and microscoped because it's the Jets. The dog pound's going to be rocking at this game. I hope the offense is knocking down some TDs, but we'll see.
The Browns are still not there yet. So far, this is the third week. And last week, they won the game, but the opponent was the Jets, first of all. Second of all, Baker still struggled in that game. If you watch that game, he's still struggling to get the ball downfield. OBJ made a big play for him in a screen pass, and a short pass, and then it turns big. Hey, you got receivers.
Never expecting a screen pass.
Exactly. If you got receivers that can do that, that's fine. But at some point, Baker's got to clean that game up because it's on him. Everything is on him right now for that team to move with him and Freddie Kitchens. Kitchens got to get them off to a better start. Right. And their offense is not flowing right now, just like the Cardinals. All these new offenses are going to go through this period. Yeah. It's just how fast can you clean it up? How fast can you stay together? I mean, how long can you stay together as a team without blowing it up or the attitudes and the personalities start coming into play. True. So hopefully they can stay together and they'll be fine. But they still don't. They haven't cleaned it up yet. But they're getting there. They'll clean it up by the time when they get to a certain point that you start seeing them look a lot better. Like Sean was saying, if they win this game, that is going to put them up to that next level. If they win,
Earl's going to start picking up.
And then I'll start. But I like the Rams because the Rams offense is still the Rams offense, right. and but they are having a tough time. They're having a tough time protecting Goff.
Oh yeah,
he's taking a lot of hits. He's taking some sacks. The O-line's not doing what they're supposed to do right now. So if Cleveland can apply pressure to him, and they have to also, Cleveland has to force the Rams to play from behind. Because that puts them in a situation where now they can pin their ears back and get that. Who's that guy? Garrett, the sack leader, 5 sacks right now. Right. Yeah, if you get that food going, boom. Then it's all open.
And you can't get Gurley involved at that point.
Exactly. You're behind the 8 ball. Exactly. So that's the key to this game is let them play from behind. If they don't play from behind their front runner, Cooper Kupp, Woods, them dudes gonna have a field day, but we'll see. But the Browns ain't there yet, so maybe next week I'll pick y'all.
Hater.
All right, speaking of pick, who we gonna pick this week? We got the Panthers at the Cardinals.
Oh,
we don't
man.
know who's going to start, whether it's gonna be Cam or whether it's gonna be Kyle, and I don't mean Kyler Murray. I mean the Kyle that's on the Panthers. The Panthers they're vulnerable. When you look at Cam Newton, if Cam happens to play, he's injured. I mean, he's injured, whether it's the foot or it's the shoulder. He can't throw. He throws about as far as I can throw.
Yeah,
my neck and my back.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Very well done. But the Cardinals, they need to run the ball more. One of the things that I remember you and I were on our way to Vegas for that wonderful Vegas trip that we had, and you were talking about the air raid offense and some of the things that go with it, some of the characteristics and the personality of it. One of the things that you just hope maybe that game 2 was an aberration, because David Johnson did have 82 yards in the first game.
Right.
But he had, what was it, 14 yards in the second
14
game.
yards.
7 rush attempts. Now, David Johnson still looks a bit tentative.
Yep.
But you have to run the ball more than that. You can't abandon the run. It's not as if there was a 14. It's not as if you were down 14 or 17 points.
Exactly.
So you shouldn't have abandoned the run so quickly. Play calling is an issue, especially in the red zone. Just in general, in terms of to give your team that rhythm. I understand that Kyler, he flashed for, 6 Kirk actually had 6 receptions for 114 yards. Larry Fitzgerald had 100 yards receiving. So those are great things, but it's all about when you call a play and how it's called, the right time, and that ebb and flow of it. What do you got, Sean?
In 1 week, the Cardinals have appeared to benefit from 4 different opponents changing their starting quarterbacks already.
That's a good point.
You got the Giants, Saints, Steelers, and potentially the Panthers.
Right.
It's going to be hard, I think, in general for Cam to finish this game if he plays this game. It's one thing that I think we can count on is that when there's blood in the water with a quarterback, Chandler Jones is going to be that shark.
Okay.
And if he's playing, Chandler's going to sniff that blood out, and I don't think Cam's going to finish the game. He's going to take a couple hits, maybe a pick, and Cam's going to have to call it and be like, I can't be out here anymore. I'm a liability. Now, the hard part with that is you have virtually no footage on Kyle Allen. And Kyler played with him. There's some familiarity there, but it's not going to be exactly the same. Right. I mean, there's a lot going on there. I see this game, if Allen plays and if Cam plays, it's going to rely heavily on McCaffrey. He needs a bounce back game after being held to 22 rushing yards.
22 yards.
I mean, that's rough.
Yeah.
Which means the Cardinals have to stop the run.
Absolutely.
They have, for the most part.
Right.
This 2 weeks, which was a surprise to
How
everyone.
many yards did Lamar Jackson gain, though? 100?
But that's a totally different
but
dynamic.
A lot of that was on scrambles. I will make some excuses for them, but Ingram didn't kill them.
Right.
This is true.
Which usually sets up their offense. So I'll give them, they're still a good run stopper for now. This game's going to be a good test of that. The Cardinals have desperately needed to start, to be smarter with their red zone play calling. You got to run the ball in this situation. They've showed no issue going from their 30 to the other 30. Once they get to the other 30,
It's that mental block.
Shut it down.
okay, let's just do fades.
Yep.
3 fades in a row. No. Run the ball.
Yeah.
I don't care if it doesn't work. At least run the ball. Show me that you're trying to push it in there.
Right.
You got guys that specialize in run blocking. Run the ball.
Right.
It shouldn't be that hard. The last thing I have on this is that they do have to score early.
Okay.
Cardinals fans are already tired
Touchdowns.
of this. They're already tired of this whole touchdowns early. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not talking field goals. We can get field goals all day long.
Right.
Shout out to Zane Gonzalez. But you got to score early. Touchdown early.
Right.
Because now you've got a potentially hurt quarterback or a rookie young backup quarterback playing from behind. That will help. Got to do it early.
I'm
End
with
rant.
I'm with you on what's going on with Cam. I mean, he's not the same because of all the injuries, but he never really turned into the pocket passer anyway yet. He hadn't gotten there yet, and now the injuries are slowing him down even more. So it's like, okay, he's always had that security blanket. Olsen made it easier for him to throw the ball.
And he might end up getting 2
And he might get, that's on my list, so don't worry about that. I got that. I got you on that one. But he's been sacked a lot. He got sacked 5 times last week. Was it, Cam?
I believe so.
Yeah, so he took a lot. He's taking a lot of hits. But like you just said, Olsen, when you talk about the Panthers, it's Christian McCaffrey and it's Greg Olsen. If you can neutralize the running game, like Sean's saying here, if you can force him to 22 yards, game over.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you can give Greg Olsen all he wants because that
No problem doing
yeah,
that anyway.
exactly. Oh
Play to our
man,
weaknesses at this point.
but look at it though. I mean, we have to do something. Somebody has to kind of spy this or guard this tight end because for just 2 games, 17 catches, 273 yards and 3 touchdowns.
You know that Hawkinson
That's
didn't
2 games.
Hawkinson from Detroit for week 1 didn't have a reception last week.
Wow, I didn't know
Thanks, Trey.
that. Thanks.
Thank you for
Yeah, that's incredible.
Could have used that on Monday.
Yeah, but it's a copycat league, so we got to shut down McCaffrey. We can shut McCaffrey down. That neutralizes most of what they do.
Right.
But the Cards got their own issues. Y'all already hit on the red zone. I'm mix in some power running and mix in some quarterback draw. There's 2 things missing from this offense. Remember, we were talking about the air raid offense. Remember, we're not talking about the same air raid that Mike Leach ran. Cliff Kingsbury says my air raid's a little different. It's supposed to be balanced. And it's supposed to be balanced. Why? So it can sustain in the NFL. If you balance it out with running, it'll stay in the NFL longer than people think it will.
And that's why it's so important for them to score early because they can't be balanced if they're down 2
That's
scores.
it. And they're always throwing the ball because they're down. That's the key. There's 2 things that are stopping that. David Johnson running effective and Kyler running. Those are 2 things that are stopping this offense from being deadly. I mean, we're talking
RPO.
exactly. We're talking like, oh man. I remember on the show Monday night, you saw the dynamic that Lamar Jackson gives that offense in Baltimore.
Yeah, we'd like to see that.
Woo!
Speaking for Cardinal fans.
If Kyler starts to run like that, what I mean by run like that, I mean like design plays for him to run like that.
Right.
And then sometimes do it just to keep the defense honest. Oh, you gonna just give me all that grass? Are you kidding me? He used to do that in college, just take off and weave through defenses, and next thing you know, he's running down the dang sideline. But he's not looking to do that now. He wants to prove to this league and everybody else that he's this pocket passer, which we already know he is. Right. But you need this offense to get going to the point where now it's like, we're 5th in offense right now. We can probably be leading this league in offense if those 2 things get right.
But is that misleading? Because once again, when you get to the 30, when you get to the 20, then all of a sudden it's you're not able to tack on the points, get those
correct
6 and 7, get the 7
But
points.
think of it like this:
3.
if I'm a defense and there's all these dynamics that I have to guard against, okay, we know they're gonna have 4 receivers out there. If the running game's going, how do I stop David Johnson? We got to put 8. Do you know David Johnson has not have not run against an 8-man box yet? He's supposed to be
Right.
the running back. They're supposed to be able to put 8 men in the box to stop you. He hasn't had an 8-man box, and he's still not running good. But if he gets going, then you got to go, okay, we got to stop that running game now. Oh, Kyler can come running out of there at any given time.
Right.
it'd be all over the place. It'd be straight deadly. I'm telling you. But we're missing those. We're missing that stuff. We're missing the two main things. The running dynamic to even this thing out.
Sean, you mentioned a little bit earlier you mentioned a couple times about needing to score early. I think the Cardinals are in a no-win situation for this reason. If they beat up, well, put it this way: if here's the situation: if they lose to a beaten down Cam Newton, then I think the fans, maybe not the locker room, the fans, and I mentioned this to Ed just yesterday. The fans will start to really question about, well, I know there's a process, but what's going on with this process? If they underestimate Allen, and he ends up torching them, then that's going to be the same thing. Well, where's the intensity? So they have to win by 14 or more points.
You think so?
I think so.
And correct me if I'm wrong. No, this is not the same team from last year.
No, they're missing some pieces, but
I'm talking about as far as the Cardinals go. We're not the same team from last year. I think we got fight in us now. I don't think there's going to be nothing we're going to come in and underestimate.
What do you want to have? Do you want moral victories or do you want victory?
No. Against this team we're playing against, if it's a second string quarterback, it better be victory.
But to Jay's point, the Cardinals have had trouble with backups.
Yeah, that's right.
Steelers.
Who's the guys? The Steelers.
Yep, I know who you're thinking about. Yep.
Number 8, whatever his name was, came in. We was expecting to just run across.
I was in Disneyland that day.
Yeah,
ruined my whole trip. But it happens. It happens in the league. Fans will definitely question why didn't you beat this team? They're a little crippled right now. They're missing their leader right now. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make it look easy, because no win in the NFL is easy, but those 4 games that I mentioned earlier got a little easier.
Right.
They did.
Right.
I mean, maybe not the Giants, but at the same time, the Giants, because Eli, Daniel Jones, that's fine, but the Giants aren't a complete team. Right. So that should still be a formidable game for you to go in there and do what you need to do. But I am worried, because I think that the Panthers have experience and they can do that. They can come up and win.
Yeah, so and they still have a somewhat of a defense.
Yeah, they're not as stout as they were before, but they still can hit you, and they can still defend.
I actually like the Cardinals receivers in this game too.
Yeah.
I mean, Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald are first and third respectively in slot targets. And we talked to Evan Kirk, Christian's father, and we told him that dude looks dynamic in that slot. He's starting to pick up like, we gotta account for that guy. And
especially against zone defense.
Man, he looks deadly. Christian looked like, I'm picking this up. He looked like fluent, like, oh man, I like that. But we'll see. But let's we got to mention what's going on right now with the Cardinals. We got to mention what's going on right now.
What's that?
We restructured Chandler Jones's contract.
Yes.
Why do you think we would do that if we didn't have something planned already that we were doing? Why would they just do that out of nowhere? And then why did we wait until somebody's crying they want out, and now all of a sudden it happens?
There was also the rumor about maybe Taco
Charlton, maybe.
Maybe they gotta go
but
after him.
there was also rumors that Cardinals were not interested in Taco Charlton.
Right.
But I'm still trying to think right now. I'm so tired of this team seeing a piece out there that can make you relevant instantly and don't bite on it. I'm so tired of that. Because if you look at our division, they do it. Okay. Rams are up here. Who they get? All those free agents came flocking to them. Where that put them up here. Seattle's like right under them. And the 49ers and the Cardinals were neck and neck right under Seattle.
Right.
But as soon as Seattle got who? Clowney, they shot up there behind the Rams a little further up. If the Cardinals go get Jalen Ramsey, that would catapult them up in that division, and we would compete for this division this year. Not next year, this year. And we just don't make moves like that. I'm so tired of that.
It's also the potential of maybe not doing that and doing Trent Williams.
Okay.
Offensive line help. There's guys out there. There's probably, I would say, a good list of 10 players that Keim's looking at to make that move for. There might be players that are disgruntled, that are a little bit more professional and don't leak it.
Right.
that the GM knows, and Keim just calls and says, "Yeah, I got this guy, this guy, this guy that all want to leave." They're probably all in Miami. Let's just put that out there. But
exactly.
There are players that might not be on that so obvious list.
Right.
They're gonna make a move.
Right. I just got
probably not by Sunday, but the following Monday. They're gonna
right. That's what I'm thinking. Jalen Ramsey's probably gonna be gone off the Jaguars by Monday after Sunday's
game.
game.
The NFC West, unless he's not.
But you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Seattle or San Francisco's going to pick this dude up, and what's that going to do? That's going to kick us back down some more in the cellar. And it's like, when does Steve Keim and Michael Bidwell start to say, you know what? The hell with it. Let's go. Let's go. But they don't do that, man.
It'll be interesting because we know that Keim's job is essentially.
Is he on the hot seat?
Hot right now.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I know we'll be watching closely.
It's going to be interesting to see what this money's been saved for.
Speaking of money, the Raiders at the Vikings. Kirk Cousins can loan me a little bit of money, all of us some money. The money he's stealing from the Vikings. So the Raiders, Carr was sacked 3 times, 2 interceptions. Last week was hit 5 times. Can they contain the Vikings' run game is the question that I have. Cousins, just not good. 2 sacks, 1 interception, 198 rushing yards last week. But it's just Kirk Cousins. He threw too much. It's funny. I think if you limit him to around 10 passes, he might be able to win you a game.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on this?
The Vikings held opponents under 200 yards passing 5 out of their last 6 games. That bodes well for them because that's about around where Derek Carr always passes about 200 yards. I mean, he's perfect for that 200-yard game. In fact, his last 3 or 4 games, he was under 200 yards. But the Raiders are 1-7 on the road. And so going back to last year, 1-7 on the road, they don't do too well on the road. That's usually when Derek Carr has those 150, 175 passing games. The Vikings have more rushing yards than they do. The Vikings have more rushing yards than they do passing yards. That Kirk, it's like, man, that's ugly. I mean, I know Dalvin Cook's the man.
Look pretty though.
Dalvin Cook's the man because that dude, I mean, he's getting 100 yards games. Matter of fact, there's only 2 running backs right now so far every game that's had 100 yards rushing. He's one of them. Dalvin Cook. The other one I think is Saquon Barkley. But man, both these quarterbacks. Tell me if y'all agree with this or not. But both them quarterbacks, don't they look exactly alike almost? I mean, they both struggle. They're mediocre. They both have the hype. Can't live up to the hype.
Some of the money too.
Exactly. And it's like they both got that short game. And it's like, dude, they look exactly the same quarterback. Switching their uniforms, they look exactly the same. But I'm going to go with the Vikings because of their offense and because of the dynamic that the Raiders can't play on the road.
Yeah, and they're not going to be playing at home for a long time, too.
Ooh.
So
wow, not until
it's like almost 2
Ooh,
months worth of games.
Yeah.
It's insane. That's
Good
why
luck
give
with
your game
that,
up to
man.
London. But the Raiders' spiral has officially begun. That week 1, it was a little victory party for them to get rid of AB, but it's officially begun. They hung with KC in the beginning, which made me really confused and concerned for a minute.
Right.
And then they just couldn't maintain that scoring power. I think Minnesota's going to pick them apart slowly. And they're going to figure them out as slow as they want to, but it's not going to matter.
5 yards at a time.
5 yards at a time until the 4th quarter when I think they might win by 2 scores. But that's it. This game isn't going to be fun. It's not going to be electric. It's just going to be one of those games where played
like
football
blah.
and somebody won.
Somebody won.
Steelers at 49ers. Big Ben is out. Mason Rudolph is in. Will they revert to the old school, really the running game? Because with Big Ben, it's been about that vertical game. So what are they going to be able to do, or what type of offense will they roll out? 49ers, 572 total yards last week. Jimmy G looks like he's back on track. They're really starting to. It seems like they're starting to hit on all cylinders.
You mean in them cupcake games they was playing?
You got to win the games that are I guess.
It must be nice to have an easy schedule.
They sacked Dalton 4 times. Again, the Cincinnati Bengals are just that. They just make it the team that is just there.
Yeah, they just like, who
They're
cares?
just there. But who you got in this?
And this one for the Steelers and Niners, man. Another QB loss this week. It's rough. It's the NFL. 49ers are going to bring a lot of offense in this game. I mean, they're scoring over 30-plus in their previous two matches. Yes, it's cupcakes, but 30-plus is still 30-plus in the NFL. So I got to go Niners in this one. It's hard to pick against the home teams this week.
When you think Pittsburgh Steelers, you think defense. But right now, they don't even have that. They are 29th in total defense. So that alone tells you that's not the same team.
Right.
So I still look at, okay, the 49ers had 2 cupcake games. This is the third one. This will be the third cupcake
It
game.
opened up nice for them.
Yeah, this opened up really nice. No bend, no defense. Oh, this will be a nice cupcake game. So 3 straight cupcakes give them a 3-0 record.
About to have 3 more
Jimmy G about to go. Jimmy G's about to look more comfortable. Like, oh, he's back because of these 3 games.
Amazing how that works. Falcons at the Colts. The Falcons, they finally put some points on the board.
Yeah.
They held Philadelphia to 49 yards rushing. The defense allowed 2 receivers, though, to amass 16 receptions and 179 receiving yards. So that's something that's concerning.
Yeah.
The Colts, Brissett, he really needs to ramp up. 1 interception. He was sacked 3 times, but they forced 10% third down conversion on their opponent last week. Who you got with this one?
As a owner of Julio Jones on my fantasy team, hello, Julio.
Exactly.
Julio. The Falcons stepped up big in that game. They took way more. They looked way more like a formidable offense than they did in the previous week. I see more of the same in this game, even if it is on the road. Matty Ice is finally cold in a good way.
Right.
Yeah, Julio Jones is looking like the Julio Jones of 2 years ago, was it? Remember he had last year and the year before they was having trouble getting in the end zone?
He was
So,
up against it.
yeah, he was like, I mean, so now if he gets back to that where he's scoring touchdowns, he looks like the old Julio. But Matt Ryan's starting to get pick happy. He threw 3 interceptions in that game, and he's always throwing them in the end zone. He did that in the Super Bowl, didn't he? In one of the playoff games last year, just throws his picks when he's trying to force the ball in the end zone.
It's like they have red zone issues.
Yeah, exactly, and they still having that.
They do.
But he didn't throw 2 picks in one game all last year. Now he's got 3 in one game. It's like, is he starting to decline? I don't know. Maybe he's having a tough time, but he's got a big task against the Colts defense because the Colts are only giving up 214 passing yards. So they're stingy defense. So the reason that Matt Ryan's having those picks is because he's throwing the ball 45 to 50 times a game. And Freeman only had 22 yards rushing. So their running game is like gone. They don't even have a running game. Colts, on the other hand, play to their crowd. They always play good at home. I don't know why. It doesn't matter who's the quarterback. That crowd gets them going. Somehow they stay in games. But Brissett, 3 touchdown passes last week, but only 145 yards passing, threw the ball 28 times. Yeah. How do you throw the ball 28 times, 3 touchdowns, 145 yards? Here you go.
That's like about like 2 yards per throw.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Exactly. About 2 yards, but they actually average 5.3 per play, but per throw, yeah, that's probably 2 point something. Yeah, but
that doesn't help.
I'm going to go with the Falcons, of course, in that game.
Excuse me. Bengals at the Bills, the BBs, 19
BBs.
rushing yards for 19 rushing attempts for 25 yards for the Bengals last week. The defense gave up 572 yards. Ridiculous. 2 receivers with 100-plus receiving yards. But the Bills, are the Bills really about to go 3-0? The luck of the draw. Are they about to go 3-0?
Did you steal my notes?
No, that's the same thing.
Let's go with you, Cameron.
Boy, some of these teams are getting the luck of that schedule favorably.
Yeah.
49ers, now we got the Buffalo Bills. Ain't been 2-0 since 2000.
Well, that's a way back.
That's a
stat
long.
right there. Look at
Y2K. Yeah, but
was 10.
the Bengals.
Shut up.
The Bengals, all you fantasy football players out there, the Bengals allow 4 touchdowns a game by quarterbacks. So go ahead and get whoever they're playing against, which will be Josh Allen. But can Josh Allen throw 4 touchdowns in one game? I don't know. I was going to go with Buffalo anyway because of the Bengals. I don't know what the Bengals are, man.
The Bengals are those bagel bites that are in the microwave that never got cooked through all the way, and then you forgot about them 5 minutes after they were cooked. That's what the Bengals are. They're there. You gotta eat them.
You want to?
It is what it is.
You want to hear a shocking stat though?
Huh.
The Bengals have passed the ball 75.6% passing on their snaps. They're passing the ball 75% of the time, and they're first in the league. When you would have thought that'd be the Cardinals or maybe the Chiefs or somebody like, how the hell is the
Chiefs?
Yeah, or at least the Chiefs would be up there.
Well, you can throw it 75% of the time. It doesn't mean it gets completed.
That's a good point.
Throw it away. No, I can't believe I'm saying this. The Bills are going 3-0.
3-0. You know why they're going 3-0 though.
I have zero faith in the Bengals. At home, on the road, on a bus, in a box with a fox.
Dr. Seuss.
The Bills are going to win in this weird game, and they're probably going to win by 3 touchdowns. It's going to be weird as all get out.
Real quick, that Buffalo Bills running back, what's his name? Devin Singletary. Dude's going to gash that defense. He has 100. He has 2 games going over 100 yards, but 10 fewer carries. He's getting 100-yard games back to back. So that means he's gashing defenses, and he's going to tear the hell out of Bengals defense. 10 yards per play. He's like, oh, shit.
So we're going to get into our rapid fire segment here. So let's just, a few words as possible.
Exactly.
Dolphins and Cowboys. Your thoughts?
That division can't get any weaker, any faster, man. It is crumbling. And the Dolphins, they're looking weaker than all the other teams losing their starting QBs. That's their goal, because now they have competition in this whole tanking scheme. They got 4 other teams now that are trying to tank more than they are. And now they're about to get investigated. Did I hear that right for this tanking? They might get investigated for this.
By the NFL or
by the NFL. For how bad this is going. Wilson's going to get the start. Cardinals fans know that's not really going to matter much. It's not much against him. He's just got bad luck with coordinators and teams, man.
Yeah,
he's got bad
I feel
luck.
for Josh, man.
Cowboys are going to win, unfortunately, which means all those Cowboy fans are going to bring their jerseys back out. That whole Super Bowl run chant that they're going to keep doing, it's going to be awful. But the Cowboys at home.
Yeah, the only thing you got to worry about is will they make the spread. 22-point spread.
Whew. Yeah, basically. Jets at Patriots. They're on their third quarterback because one has mono. But third quarterbacks of Jets and Patriots. How bad is this going to be?
The Jets haven't looked good. The Pats are trying to utilize Antonio Brown for as long as they can have him. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
They didn't beat the Miami as bad as I thought or as I said they would, but they're going to beat the Jets about as bad as I think they will, which is bad.
Well, they beat Miami pretty bad.
But they were going to try and beat Miami worse than Miami got beat the week before. They were short by a couple points, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
They were close. They shut them out, but it wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Sam Darnold out with mono, but he can't go mano and mano with Tom Brady, so it don't really matter. Tom Brady and the Patriots 11-3 against the Jets the last 10 years, so it's not even a contest.
Broncos at the Packers offense. Broncos offense weakness despite 27 first downs, 372 total yards. Packers is Rodgers. Is this Rodgers and LaFleur? Is this gonna explode? Your thoughts on this one? Go with you guys.
Nah, I think they'll be okay. They just have to gel together and get things right. But what's holding them together is that defense. They're balling on defense, so they're gonna confuse Flacco more than he's already confused.
Oh man! The Packers have a defense. Better late than never. I guess.
know.
You said all those other Super Bowl years. I'm just saying. But meanwhile, the Broncos have no idea what they're doing. I'm gonna say Packers at home.
Giants and Bucks. Daniel Jones is in the building. Your thoughts on this casual E?
Daniel Jones, you're gonna make him a game manager, and you just give that ball to Saquon Barkley. Period. Because BA and Todd Bowles are gonna blitz the hell out of that quarterback, and he ain't gonna know what to do. So just turn around, hand that ball up, and let Saquon have his 150 in that game. That's all you can do because you're gonna lose it anyway. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, can you imagine a scenario where Daniel Jones gets injured and Eli has to come back in? and then all of a sudden when
I'd be like, nah, man, don't call on me.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
is he gonna save the Giants season? No. He was picked to hand the ball off, just like you said. Tampa Bay improved in their week 2 matchup on the road. I see it being close because Jameis, you just never know what you're going to get with him, but I'm going to go with the home team, Tampa.
Titans and Jaguars, that was a Thursday night game. The Jags ended up winning 20-7. I picked the Titans, and I was definitely wrong. So, what were your thoughts real quick on this game? Who'd you pick?
I picked the Titans as well. Gardner Minshew gave him a lot of crap last week, but Calais Campbell had 3 sacks. Shout out to CeCe. We definitely miss him in Arizona, man.
What the final score was that one?
20-7.
20-7, man.
Tennessee is just that team that just piss you off,
You
man.
picked the Jaguars too, yep.
No, I picked Tennessee.
No, that's what I meant.
Exactly. It's like, oh, they look good. And then they play the team they're supposed to lose against, and they just come out there and lay an egg every time. It happens every time I fall for it.
Lions at the Eagles. The Lions need to run a little bit more. What happened to this balanced offense that they were supposed to be coming into the season with? That was supposed to be the thing. The Eagles, Wentz, he got pulled from the game because they put him back in, but he got pulled for
concussion.
a series. Possible concussion,
right?
Possibly not playing up to par, whatever it is. But the Eagles. So Lions and the Eagles. Who you got in this one, Sean?
I got the Eagles. The Lions managed to beat the Chargers. I don't really know what that means
this
season. What does that mean? No one knows who the Chargers are. I think Philly's going to bounce back. They need to keep that playoff push alive, and a win here would do so.
I think this is an evenly matched game, to be honest.
Okay.
These are two teams that are still figuring things out to a point, like you said. They offense, they don't know what. So the Lions are going, okay, when the running's not really going right, we know we can depend on just letting Matthew just push the ball downfield, and that's what they're doing right now. So the Eagles doing the exact same thing. It's like going to be the home team, I guess. I would go with the Eagles just because of the home team.
Bears at Redskins.
This is my upset of the week.
Really? Trubisky is garbage.
Oh, yes.
Garbage.
Yes, he is.
Redskins only 2 for 9 on third down. This is the Monday night game. They only had 47 yards rushing. What you got on this, Sean?
All right, so sounds like you guys are going Redskins.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm going Redskins all the way.
Well, if I got to get out of third place, I'm going to pick the Bears. I'll pick the Bears on the road. Why
just
not?
for the strategy of it. Strategic
The
move.
Redskins have, 4 quarterbacks? And the Bears have a really good defense? Redskins might need to use all 4 of those quarterbacks. I'm going to call Bears on the road.
Oh, wow. Nah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to do it just because I'm going with the Redskins because the Redskins are at home and they run the ball. And AP's running mad, ticked off that they held him out that first game, messed his little record up for playing games. At the same time, the Bears are not who we think they are. That's just period. Trubisky is garbage. Sometimes a system can hide a guy for only so long.
Okay.
And then when people figure the system out, oh, there's the real guy right there. And that's what we found
me on the basketball court and say, oh, you've been hiding that big dude over there. Just let it.
And then sometimes history plays a little. I hate going back and saying that team back there did so and so, so this team gonna do. No, I hate doing that, but sometimes it plays a part. The Redskins are 7-0, 7 straight games against the Bears, no matter where they're playing. Okay. So that sometimes could play a part in it. I don't know why. It's just that luck of the whatever. I don't know what it is, but being at home, running the ball down that dude's throat, and Trubisky not being able to do anything and throwing the ball, that's going to get the Redskins a victory. It's going to be a low-scoring victory, but they'll get it.
Now, one of the things real quick before we head out of here, again, this is the Neutral Zone, Casual Sports. So KSRNAZ, also everything Casual Sports on all social media. So Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So KAZUALSPORTZ. You've thrown out a couple of rankings this week in terms of 29 point, points per game, et cetera, only after 2 weeks. So I'm just curious, when, not as a joke, but when does it really start to, those statistics, do they really start to matter to you in terms of the ebb and flow of the season, where teams are in terms of whether being third in this category, points per game, all that stuff? Is it after the quarter point of the season? Is it after 8 games? Is it after 6 games? When do they start to become more significant to you? Let's start with you, Sean.
I think last week we talked about this as far as do we know identities of teams? Mm-hmm. I give that about 4 weeks. Let them shake off some rust, figure out what plays didn't work, what did. When it comes to actual stats, I like to go stat heavier around week 6, week 7, because then you know that the plays that they wanted to work don't work. They threw those away. Right. Now you're going to be, you know who you are. You're working on what you can do. I go then. So usually for me, the first 6 games of the season, I'm just going off my gut, what I feel, what I see from the last week, and try to find a trend. But it's so hard to find a trend in these first couple weeks because everyone's feeling themselves out, and now we got all these injuries. Yeah, it's really kind of tricky. But I say 6.
Yeah,
weeks.
That's about right. I mean, because injuries play a part. You never know what happens, how you have to, compensate for injuries. But I would say after week 8, because midway through the season. Because about when you get to midway, if you haven't figured things out by midway, you are who you are. Right. And sometimes especially when you talk about playing in December. So from 8 to all into the playoffs and people fighting for position and all those things, I think it's week 8 to let you know exactly who people are. You'll know the fake from the real easy.
I know there's one thing: the Dolphins suck in terms of putting points on the board.
Do you think they're really going to try to go 0-16?
Absolutely.
Do you know how much that's going to kill the culture of a team?
Man, I like who said that. Somebody said that earlier.
Culture of a team.
I forgot who said. They said that those guys are the team is not doing the players any justice to their careers.
Yes.
Somebody was just going off on somebody
about
it.
You're not doing a rebuild. I mean, you were literally throwing everyone on that roster away and starting with your first pick. You can't do it right away, obviously, but players are already getting out now. They see the writing on the wall. They know what's happening.
That's just cold.
Everyone wants Tua, but there's going to be no one to protect him. He'll probably get injured and bust out of the league.
What if Tua just decides, I think I'll stay because I don't want to go there?
Then they'll have to go 0-16 again.
I would be just, 0-16. They don't
know what he's going to do?
You know what? I'm going to get my brains beaten. You know what? I think I'll stay my senior year.
He's going to have one number on speed dial. Hey, Antonio, how do I get out of this team that I don't like?
Okay.
Sorry, Jake.
Let me conference in Bill Belichick and we'll get that straight out.
Yeah.
But on behalf of Sean McConnell and Earl Burnett and our missing brother, Ed Smith, I am Javon Adams. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Neutral Zone. We'll see y'all next Thursday. So as we like to say about this time,
we go. Peace, Facebook.
Jay's not in frame. I apologize. Jay, can you say hi to Facebook? Get your face in there.
What's up?
Oh, he's never been in the frame the whole time. Are you free?
Oh, that's fresh. I'm the ghost.
I thought you were in frame the whole time. I look and I'm like, I just see your mic. You're like half in frame and half out.
Oh, okay.
Well, at least the Phoenix Suns got in there. We just had all kinds